Well, I think it's very unclear what will happen with respect to police and crime commissioners. As you say, it was defeated in the Lords, and I was very pleased about that. I think it risks the politicisation of the police, it risks the operational independence of the Chief Constable. So I think there's a real worry and a real concern about having one individual elected into that position, and I think it was really disappointing, therefore, to hear the Home Secretary and indeed the Police Minister just say that they're going to overturn it in the Commons. One would at the very least have hoped for some sort of compromise, some sort of recognition that there's this concern, and to reflect on that and to bring forward some compromise, some change to take account of the defeat the government suffered in the Lords. Well, first of all, we think very clearly that there does need to be this review. The Federation have called for a Royal Commission. We're worried about the time that would take, so we clearly are looking at an alternative, and we've been looking at the idea of an independent review. So, we need a figure to chair that who carries the necessary credibility, has independence that everyone would want. And as the Shadow Home Secretary said today, we've challenged the government to do that, but certainly if the government don't come forward with that, then we'll carry it forward, and we'll get an independent figure to chair it. We'll go out and collect evidence from the public and from all of the policing bodies, and look to see where we can gather evidence from about some of the challenges that face policing today, to try and bring about that coherent plan, that overall strategy that the Police Federation and others have called for, rather than the bitty type of reform that we've seen with Hutton, with Neyroud, and indeed with Windsor, alongside the massive cuts. So if we can do that, I think that that'll be a big step forward. I spoke at the Sergeants' Conference this morning, and obviously been in for the Shadow Home Secretary's speech this afternoon, and been around talking to people in between. And what I think is that people are very angry, they're frustrated, and they just think they've got a government that's not listening to them. We saw this morning with the Police Minister that when people asked questions, he often said they were wrong, or that he disagreed with them. And so I think people find that very difficult, because at the very least they expect to be listened to. They're the professionals, they're the people out there on the front line, and if they're saying this is a problem for us, or this is difficult, I think the very least that they would expect is that somebody engages with that. And it seems to me that people are worried that there's almost a breakdown of trust between the police and the government, and I think that's a very, very difficult situation for any government to be in. And certainly the big mood, I think, the big mood amongst us, they just feel completely undervalued.